Hey guys, it is Darren here. I figured I'd throw together a Showdown Super Bowl. I mean, it's a Super Bowl, right? I usually don't do these Showdown videos, but for the Super Bowl, I figured I'd give you guys a little peek at what we have to offer over here on the optimizer. Couple things that we don't have. We don't have the kickers on here. That's something that we should get up by next year. But you kind of neat for you guys to look at the projections and kind of see what kind of lineups it's spitting out. The $3 tournament actually has $100,000 up top. So throwing together 20 lineups and see what get my thoughts on it a little bit. Um, and I do have access to some of the projections that I'll kind of go over a little bit also. So yeah, so let me show you what we got. So DraftKings, I'm gonna do 20 lineup showdown, yeah, Super Bowl, the custom stack. So I made a couple together. My first one, I did Debo Samuel. He's showing in the mid 30s for ownership. Um, I think he actually should be a little bit higher. I'll be overweight on Debo. He looked really good last week, even when he was super questionable to play. And now he's had 2 weeks to rest, and the matchup for him's pretty good. And he's showing 7, 8, 9% at captain. I'm also going to be overweight at captain for him. You got to be different, obviously, in these lines. So I'm choosing to do that. I'm going to team up with Purdy, and I really like Pacheco. So I like this as a little build. Don't really have to, you know, go without in showdown because all types of different weird ones can be the optimal. So for this one, I'm not going to do anything with this one. And the second stack I made, I did Pacheco. I did it with the Chiefs defense, and I did it without the 49ers. And if the Chiefs and Pacheco are obviously going off, figure there'll be a lot of screen passes, and Depot will be heavily involved trying to play catch up in the game. So I kind of like that little pairing on that part. Um, close this. And so max exposure here. This isn't set in stone, guys. This is something through. I mean, if you wanted to lock Mahomes in 20 lineups, you could. You want to lock McCaffrey in all 20 lineups or 150, whatever you're doing, you can do that also. Same receiver and tight end or whatever. But obviously your choice if you wanted to play with that. So let's go look at some of the player settings and see some of our guys here. So let's have a look. So let's look at the quarterback. Mahomes, obviously, he's showing around 15% captain and just over 60% as a flex position. And Purdy is showing right around 45 or so in the flex and around 7, 8, 9% in the captain area. Um, Obviously, you typically probably want to have one of these quarterbacks. You don't have to have two, but some research shows typically having at least one quarterback is probably best. We do have a total of 47 and a half, so I'm I'm going to probably make sure I have at least one of the quarterbacks. And then the running backs, obviously CMC, stud, Checo, stud. Clyde Edwards-Helaire involved. Now, what's interesting here is he's not projected right now. Jarrett McKinnon, it's still up in the air. You know, I guess we'll see the inactives if he's going to play or not. But if he does play, I made a rule where I'm only going to have one of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and McKinnon. I don't think both of them can get there to be optimal. So just be aware of that. I did the same with Eli Mitchell and Kyle Shusek. Let's say McCaffrey, gets hurt, he goes down, something happens. Eli Mitchell will probably be the guy, and then Kyle Juszczyk also. But I don't think you can get both of these guys to be optimal in here. McCaffrey's obviously 75, 78%, you know, owned. He's going to be 20, 25% owned by captain, maybe higher in some of the bigger entry contests. So let's go look at the receivers. Debo, um, nice on slate. He is my favorite um, receiver on the slate. Like him a lot. Rice is actually coming in just over 50% owned. And like I said before, Debo's in the mid 30s. So I'll have a lot of both, but I am going to be overweight on Debo. Ayuk, it's playing hit and miss just based on some of the coverage that I've seen. Snead not necessarily shadows Ayuk, but I think he'll be on Ayuk a little bit more because Debo just is all over the place. Jennings is a little priced up, 4,000. He's not that highly owned because of this price tag. I'd like him more if he was around 2,000, but 4,000's kind of steep. And then it's it's the who's gonna catch the which guy's gonna catch the ball for KC, MZS, Watson, Hardman, Sky Moore, is Kadarius Toney gonna play? Um, they talk about Tony actually maybe playing some punt return, kick return. So if he does and he plays, I'm gonna probably make a rule where I'm gonna use Tony and make sure that the Chiefs defense is also in that lineup. Reason being, obviously, he runs back a touchdown. You kind of double dip. But I don't know. It's tough, man. They got so many receivers. Harmon didn't even play in the last game, but he had a monster game before. So I don't know. I just have to, read more reports, watch some more videos and things of that sort. But the key is to be getting one of these punt receivers in a lineup that's optimal. I think it's going to be one of these guys. It's which one. So good luck. Tight end, Kelsey, obviously. Kittle got a lot of targets last game. Guess he's been questionable with the toe. Obviously, he's not missing. He'll take a nice needle, I'm sure, before the game, get nice and juiced up, so he won't be hurting on that part. And then Noah Gray actually had 5 targets last week. Um, so he was looking for him. He's pretty cheap for what he does. He's actually drawing some a little bit of ownership too. He's showing just over 20%. And Kelsey is almost 50%, around 15% of captains. And then defenses aren't showing that much as far as ownership goes, like in mid-teens. Um, but look at the projected points here, right? Chiefs are $1,000 cheaper. Who's more likely to throw an interception, Brock Purdy or Mahomes? I think it's Purdy. I did take a prop bet. I did a prop bet parlay on Hard Rock that I think Purdy throws at least one interception. Some really good points put up by Dolan and the boys about how he's been super lucky not to throw any interceptions. So, but that's how we got as a player. So let's run some lineups and have a look at some of them. Give you guys a peek. And this was actually updated yesterday. So this is a top lineup that's spitting out here. Rice, Mahomes, CMC, Pacheco, Kittle, Edwards, Pacheco, Kittle. There's my Debo, Rice, Pacheco, Kittle, Chiefs. Actually, where's here's one that made up Debo, Mahomes, Purdy, Kittle. Yeah, I don't mind this at all. Like I said, if you do want to have one of the kickers, I probably wouldn't play both in a lineup. Same with the defense. I'm only going to play one defense and one kicker per lineup. I mean, I can have a defense and a kicker, but I'm not going to have two kickers and a defense or two defenses and a kicker. I don't, unless you think for some reason the game's going to be in the 30s. If that happens, oh well, I lose. Um, so no real favorites. I'm not going to point anything out. I kind of gave my thoughts on who I like this week. A little bit of thoughts of lineup construction. Another thing actually I'll share with you, I don't mind sharing. So let's say you're using uh, you know, you're using Rice or sorry, if you're using Debo, you could actually put in here Debo, I say with Purdy, then you could max him up with um sorry, with Pacheco again, but then you could actually do it without Ayuk. If you think Debo and Ayuk can get there together, you can, but I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that yet. I'm back and forth whether I don't think I want all three. I don't think I want Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle. I don't think I want all three in a lineup. Um, if their ceiling's going to be capped, I don't think all three of them can get there to be in an optimal. Maybe wrong, but that's the way I'm approaching it. So there's something else I just wanted to share with you guys. All right, well, listen. Hope you got a little bit out of this. I thought it may be a little bit helpful, give you some thoughts and feelings. Kind of cool to see the projections, and yeah, I learned a lot throughout the year. Didn't have the best year. Had a few close, super close sweats, a milli sweats that got pretty unlucky on. But it was a fun year, and I learned a lot from the data suite near the end of the season. And I've already spent quite a few hours looking forward to next year, and looking at some of the mistakes I made. And I got so much better using the data suite and looking at things that I didn't think were possible, but the data suite just makes it possible. It's just an amazing tool, and I'm chomping at the bit already for next year. But obviously got the Super Bowl, so looking forward to some sweats hopefully tomorrow night. Well, anyway, listen, thanks for tuning in. If you can give a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. It helps the site, and we'll be upgrading some things on the optimizer this off season. Anything you'd like to see, leave some comments. I can share it with a tech crew, and hopefully we can get some of those things set for you guys. All right. Well, listen, thanks everybody, and good luck on the Super Bowl. Have a blast. See ya.